everyone, so today I have a little bit of a different makeup video. It's going to be a normal kind of everyday look, get ready with me, but I'm going to be using all cruelty-free brands. And I actually get asked so much by you guys if I'm ever going to go cruelty-free and to basically just talk a lot more about it. And I think personally doing what I do and having to review every new launch and all the new releases, it's a little bit ambitious of me to say I'm just going to go cruelty-free from now on and never touch anything else again, because unfortunately a lot of the brands that are very big here in the UK aren't cruelty-free, which is really a shame. I'm no expert here at all. There are some amazing cruelty-free bloggers and vloggers out there which probably know much more about this than I do, but I had a little look into it and actually some of my favourite brands are already cruelty-free, which is amazing, so I don't really have to change my routine all that much. So today I thought I would just focus on those brands, and I tried to include as many different brands as possible in this, but I will leave a link to a really helpful little link that I found, I think it's on Pinterest, which basically lists all the cruelty-free brands. So to get started, I'm going to use my Chantecaille Just Skin Tinted Moisturiser. You all know this is my fave, so I'm really glad that I can still use this one. I actually found that really most of the brands that you would kind of go to, so the bigger makeup brands that you'd find in Boots and in beauty hauls, and a lot of drugstore brands, basically anything that you can find in Superdrug or in Boots, weren't cruelty-free, which is such a shame because that's really just the most accessible place to buy makeup, whereas places like Space NK, Cult Beauty, shopping online, those are really the places where you can get hold of the best cruelty-free brands. So I think it's something that you have to work a little bit harder at, but I mean personally I found so many things that I already owned that were cruelty-free, so that's great, and I think so many more brands are actually kind of going down the route and trying to be cruelty-free, so hopefully in the future I can just use everything that I love and own and not have to feel terrible about actually putting it on my face. So I'm just kind of building up some coverage with this while patting it in with my beauty blender. I really haven't been using anything but a beauty blender recently. Even blushes and bronzers, I've literally been reaching for this. I'm going to be using the Creamy Radiant Concealer from NARS. I think NARS was probably the biggest surprise in all of this. I really didn't expect them to be cruelty free. They are such a big beauty brand, a big global beauty brand, so probably one of the easier ones to actually get hold of wherever you live. I need quite a lot of concealer today. It's pretty early in the morning, my face is really red. I've actually gone back to using this concealer because it has such an amazing amount of coverage. I forgot how full coverage this actually is. I'm using the shade Vanilla, which I'm sure used to be far too pale for me, but for some reason it fits perfectly now. I'm obviously getting paler as the years go by. Just loving that SPF. Can't get enough of it. And combining a really sheer tinted moisturiser with a full coverage concealer is definitely my favourite way to do my makeup, because I think overall you don't really need such a heavy foundation or a heavy base. You can just kind of stick to the areas where you need coverage with something a little bit thicker when it comes to concealer. So that is how I love to do my makeup at the moment. I want to keep the glow going with that, so I'm going to be using a liquid bronzer as well. This is from Perricone MD. This is one of my favourite bronzers. I was never expecting to love this because you think it would be a bit of a tricky product to use, but honestly I just drop a little bit out on the back of my hand, dab my beauty blender in it, and it's so sheer actually. It's not particularly creamy, it's almost a little bit watery. So you can blend this out to give such a natural golden finish. It's a really beautiful golden bronze, almost just like a sheer wash of bronzer, so it's become one of my favourite bronzing products just to give me a bit of warmth. I'm going to set that all in just to keep it in place with a powder. I actually mentioned this in my last video. It's from Bare Minerals and it's the Translucent Invisible Light Powder Duo. It's really cool actually. It has two different powders in it. One is a glow powder and one is a matte powder, so you can kind of tailor this to your skin type. So for this I actually take the matte side on a tapered brush and then just sort of press it underneath my eyes, and I kind of use this just to keep everything on and in place there, so my concealer and also my mascara and my eye makeup. I find if I do this step it just adds a little bit of longevity to everything, so there's no smudging and no flaking. And because this powder is so sheer and so finely milled, you just can't see it under there, and I always have trouble with powders under my eyes looking cakey, and this one doesn't do it at all. It's really amazing. So then the matte side I will also just take down the sides of my nose where I can, get a tiny bit shiny towards the end of the day, and then on my chin and anywhere that you wouldn't really want to have any shine. And then the glow I will take on a bigger brush and just kind of dust that all over my face to set everything in place. And this does set really well. This is a really great setting powder. So blush, highlight, you all knew I was going to be using this. It's the Jaclyn Hill Champagne Collection Face Palette. So Becca is completely cruelty free, which is amazing, which means that this anybody can use and love. So I am doing a giveaway on this. If you didn't see my video of my first impressions of this, I actually have an extra one that I'm giving away, and I will leave all the details of that down below if you want to enter to win. It's really easy, it's just hosted on Instagram. Amaretto is a really good, solid, neutral warm peachy brown blush tone. It's really beautiful and actually makes for a really amazing base for any blusher to go on top of. Sometimes I feel like my blushes can look a little bit too bright and a bit too intense. So if I put this on underneath, I find it just tones it down a little bit. It's also just a beautiful shade on its own too. So that is Amaretto, and I'm just going to put a very thin wash of Prosecco Pop over the top. Such a beautiful colour. I absolutely love it, and these are so intense that you do not need to put a lot on. I mean, look at the highlight. Look at that. That is insane. And I've actually been putting highlight mainly on the tip of my nose. I usually take it down the bridge, but I've actually been keeping it just on the tip, and I really like the way that that looks. So that's my base done. Let's move on to some brows. Anastasia Brow Wiz. It's my favourite. It's the best brow product, and it's cruelty free. I think I would have been a little bit worried if I hadn't been able to use this, because it's just my go-to. It's my #1 brow product, and I'm actually using the shade Taupe at the moment. I was using a combination of medium brown and then Taupe, but I think actually it was just a bit too dark for my brows because my hair is so light at the moment. I think just Taupe on its own works the best. I'm not sure if it's something about having my hair off my face, but it makes me want to have just big, massive brows. So those are some bold brows. I'm going to set those in with the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel as well. This stuff is like super glue. It seriously keeps your brows in place until you wash them off, basically. You could have them on for a week and they would still stay perfectly in place. I'm also getting way more back into clear brow gels as opposed to coloured ones at the moment. So this is a fave of mine at the moment, really like it. I'm quickly going to prime my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and this one is in the shade Enigma, which is kind of just like a creamy beige tone. Again, this is a step that I've been doing a lot more recently, just kind of priming my eyes, more so to kind of give a uniform base colour to my lids rather than to keep my eyeshadow on for longer. I just kind of like the way that it looks once you've kind of blanked that whole space out. And I think this primer potion does a lot better than a concealer can do. So the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be using today for this look is actually one of the few products that I bought especially for this video. So I was doing my research and kind of thinking about all the different brands that I could use, and this is actually something that I've wanted for a really long time. So it gave me the perfect excuse to actually buy it. It's from Illamasqua, and it's just their neutral eye palette. And I love that Illamasqua can say neutral, natural eye palette and give you something with an intense sparkle and a black in it. I've been wearing this a lot actually in videos and in vlogs, so you've probably seen it hidden in the description bar. It's a really, really amazing palette. So I'm just going to use pretty much all of the colours. I'm going to start with the lighter shade here and just kind of set my eyeshadow primer with that, so dust it all over the lid. I'm going to take this brown shade basically into my crease and then actually just blend it out until it covers my whole lid. And I'm really using it as a base just to give my lids a little bit more depth of colour. I'm actually really impressed by these shadows. The matte shades are really beautiful, really soft. So I'm going to pack this, it's almost like an antique gold shade, like a kind of brass. It's really beautiful, onto a brush, and then just take that and kind of press it all over my lid. I don't think I actually own another shade like this. It's really different, really beautiful. And I'm just blending that into the brown colour before I get up to the crease. I'm actually going to repeat that step as well underneath my eyes. So layering up the darker brown and then the gold on top just to kind of take it all the way around. I've actually lost my favourite little brush to go underneath the eye, my Sigma pencil brush, so I have to get another one of those. This one is actually from Zoeva though. It's kind of a flat smudger brush, and I don't actually really like it. I think it definitely gives you a thinner, less smudgy look, but it will do. It will do until I can find my favourite little one. I think I've actually featured that Sigma pencil brush in every single tutorial I've ever done. Black matte eyeshadow I think is just the most useful shade in an eyeshadow palette because you can just use it as an eyeliner. So I take it on a little angled brush and I basically just use it in the same way I would do liquid liner, and it gives a really beautiful soft effect, but you still have that definition and that density of colour if you were just using a regular liquid liner. So I've been using the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara so much more recently. I'm not sure what it is about this, but I always forget how much I actually like it. It's the perfect mascara for adding a lot of separation and a lot of volume, but length as well. So basically 3 in 1. It may not be the most thickening out there. I think if you like that really intense, very kind of product heavy lash, which I'm personally a massive fan of, you do have to sit and work at it for a little bit longer. So last up, lips, and I have a little lip combo that I've been really into recently. I've been wearing this a lot as well. It's the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Pillow Talk. I actually got this one quite recently, and then I also have one of the Balm Meet Matte Hued long lasting liquid lipsticks. I was looking for a lip product to use in this video that I haven't really mentioned a lot in the past, and I came across these. Obviously the Balm is a brand that I love, but I didn't realise that they did matte lipsticks. Liquid lipsticks are just having such a moment right now, and I've always been such a fan of them. So this one is in the shade Committed. It's a really pretty natural colour, actually probably identical to the lip liner. These actually smell really minty, but also I feel like they're a bit chocolatey as well. They kind of smell like an after eight or peppermint chocolate. Love that. I really like this colour. It's a beautiful everyday shade and one that lasts for a really long time. These actually stick around for ages and they also wear very comfortably. They kind of stay really well, but they also feel really nice to wear for a long time. So I really like these. And that is me done. That is the finished look. And really this is the kind of makeup that I've been wearing on a daily basis. It's kind of my go-to everyday makeup at the moment. And I was really glad that I could use all cruelty-free brands for that. So let me know if you like this video, if you like the idea of it, or if you have any amazing cruelty-free brand recommendations, things that I may not have mentioned in this video. I'd love to know a little bit more about it, so if there are any experts out there, which I'm sure there are, leave me some info down below. Also, if you know of any amazing cruelty-free YouTubers, I'm sure we can spread the love. So leave me some links and I will go and check those out. And that is it from me today. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all soon. Bye!